Boom. Okay. So, communication with those who are currently going through the process of grieving the loss of a loved one is difficult. Um, like embalming, like any arrangement conference, this type of thing really needs to be approached on a case by case basis. As a funeral director, you kind of need to get good at reading the room, I suppose. Um, some families are a bit more adept at dealing with grief and have better coping mechanisms as they've kind of been through the process a few times before. For example, my family, every few years we have a funeral. Old Irish family, so it's kind of like we're used to the whole thing. In arrangement conferences, it's typical, and at funerals, it's typically like a pretty, laughing, lighthearted type of thing. But we're still accomplishing what we came there to do. That's us. That's not going to be every family. Some people might be very sorrowful in the arrangement conference, and that needs to be kind of mirrored on just a case by case basis. It's kind of what is the family bringing to this. So yeah, and grief again, as it comes in, kind of multiple stages, but I believe some of my value and why I feel like I can do this job effectively comes from the fact that I've had to communicate in emergency situations with family members of somebody who is like actively dying due to my time in the intensive care unit. I specifically recall an instance where we had began CPR on this person in one of our rooms in the intensive care unit, and family was in there at the time, and so I pulled them out of there after we got the code started. I escorted them back to the waiting room, and my job during the code was to run communication back and forth from the doctor to the two family members that were there, because they were waiting on a third family member who was the power of attorney, so we couldn't stop the code or make a decision on what to do until that third family member got there. So kind of dealing with these three channels of communication, kind of what I realized in that situation and after going on removals is that people need direction. Compassion is great. Compassion is fine. Being there for somebody on an emotional level and kind of being, this is terrible. I'm so sorry that this happened to you. I want to be there for your family. That is great. But you need to be there by being a funeral director. They need you to direct what is going on here. If you come up in there and you're crying right along with them and you can't form a sentence and you don't have a plan for what is going to happen next, that's going to shake the faith a little bit. And it's kind of like, okay, well, like this guy is the guy who's the funeral guy who's supposed to know what's going on here. He's not doing anything. So when you get on scene, like when things have just happened, really kind of, I think your first initial communication would be, hi, my name is so-and-so, I work for the funeral home, what questions do you have? That is how the funeral director I work with here, and how the trade embalmer starts every removal, what questions do you have? Typically they'll ask whatever burning question is most prevalent on their mind, and then that question is the basis which both the funeral director and the trade embalmer kind of leap into. Here's the whole spiel about what's going to happen. And that spiel contains everything about, we're going to bring our removal equipment in, we're going to carry him out, we're going to load him into the van, and then we're going to go directly to the funeral home, to the hospital, wherever. It's just that sequence of events needs to be spelled out for the family. Your loved one is going to go from here to here to here to here, and then they will communicate with you in order to get some things accomplished. And again, empathy and compassion during that is necessary. And I was talking to my girlfriend about this last night. It's like that is a fine line to walk. You need to go in there in charge and have a plan and have a direction for how you want this meeting to go, because you have things to accomplish. However, you need to do that in such a tactful way because this loss is so fresh and so, horrible, depending on the situation. So yeah, again, it is case by case basis. But essentially a funeral director would need to be confident and kind of ready to give a game plan, I suppose is kind of the best way I can put it. the funeral director can be empathetic and sharing the sorrow of a loss, but they need to come in there with, okay, this sucks. Here's what's going to happen next. Here's what we need to get accomplished in order to properly lay your loved one to rest. You need to go in there confident, and you need to walk the line of being in charge, but also very compassionate to what these people are going through, because it does suck. That's about what I got. Thank you.